Hello everyone and welcome to the Gunpla Network. I'm the Spicer, and today's recap of episode 11 of Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury is brought to you by The Feels. So this episode is a little different, and it's largely, kind of actually sad. So finding the humor here is going to be a little more difficult, but I'll do my best. We get to see some cool stuff, but we get to see the Earth House's ship. It's a ship, it's doing things, it's floating through space, that's pretty cool. We get to see that the Pale Lady, who was previous at the Vanitas Institute, is still hanging out with the Earth crew, so that's cool. She's probably going to be the, adult in the room for the inevitable Earth Kid faction, because, let's be honest, it's very much shaping up to be a war of adults and kids, as most Gundam shows do. We get to see Space Choo Choo, that's pretty cool. We get to see Nika and Girl Boss Delling here hanging out, doing business stuff, I'm not sure how this works, because in the UC there's usually a handle here, but I guess maybe she's just pushing off the wall or something. But anyway, tech questions aside, we get to see more of the animals. We get space animals, outside of being a bird. We get animals, and Suletta is hiding with the animals because she's avoiding Girl Boss Delling because she feels like she's not being useful. And that is kind of the crux of this episode, is just Suletta feeling like she's trying really hard, but no one appreciates her, and she has of no use to anybody. Because she's not had the aerial Gundam for a couple months, so she's really not done much of anything, unfortunately. So she's feeling pretty down about it. Then we get the OP, which still slaps. Love this OP. I'm going to skip through it as we do. And then we get the big plant. I can't actually remember what the name of the plant is anymore. But this is the big mobile suit factory plant, I guess. It's weird that it's, I guess, I don't know, it's not even weird that it's shaped like this. This is, I think, one of the stranger things built around an asteroid that I can think of in Gundam. But, yeah, it's a big plant. There's a lot of stuff going on, like, big ships here look really small by comparison. So that's a big facility. We get Space Patrolman Haro here, and then we get a big ship, which I believe this is one of the Dominicus ships coming in, or maybe it's just a freighter or something. But we get to see the Earth crew make it. They're all kind of like, oh, cool, we made it. Pale Lady's like, hey, Suletta, help me with this, and Suletta immediately breaks everything. Another very, memeable picture here of Suletta. Oh, God, I love this show. She's kind of freaked out, and then they're like, they say something, in regards to be, useless, and she thinks they're talking about her, and then she's not, and they go check on her. And this is just, a weird, I don't know why any big sci-fi thing has to have a massive hole thing. This is very Empire Strikes Back vibes right now. And just name a sci-fi thing, there's gonna be a weird big hole tunnel thing. But Lady Prospera and Delling Sr. are having a conversation. They're talking about Gundams, and she says her real name. He kind of gives her a side eye, but he doesn't act like he knows too much. Lady Prospera reaches for something. Bodyguard here's jumping the gun with his gun, and her bodyguard's like, nah, fam. Then Delling Sr.'s like, put your gun away, you idiot. And she gives him a flash drive, because flash drives are so dangerous. But look at the smirk. Look at you can't even see her eyes, but she's plotting. She's up to some dirt. Anyway, we get the Earth crew and all their mobile suits, and the captives of the ship, which includes good old Guel. We get Chibity Jr. here, and, he tries to be his macho self and immediately gets punked by this, 12-year-old girl. And, look how, if you've watched this episode, you know how smooth she does this. But for being an Earth person, she's very comfortable with Zero G, and Guel's like, I have made a huge mistake. Just insert that bird meme where it's I made a calculated risk, but boy, am I bad at math. That's Guel right now. And she's like, oh, I could do it. And her boss is like, could you stop, please? We're here to do business. We're not here to like cap some random guy in space, because they have no idea who he is. His identity has been wiped, or at least no one in this like these people and the people on like the ship, just the regular workers, have no idea Guel is Jet Turk. But he realizes that they're using some old Jet Turk machines, so he gets kind of up in arms, which is why the 12-year-old has to check him. This dude's like, hey, can you let my employees go? I'm being a good boss. And he's like, nah, we need all of y'all. We won't kill you. We just need you to just like be normal so we can infiltrate this place. Then they're bringing in lunch, this fancy future lunch. She's like, oh, I'm going to get this one, but she's still feeling useless, so she's like freaking out and giving people like the lunch she prefers. And no one realizes it, but they get through the end of the lunch and Suletta doesn't have a lunch. Big sad. She's real upset about it. It ends up being this guy already got a lunch. This lady didn't know that, so she got two. One for him, and then there's just the extra lunch. But Suletta feels even worse because she didn't get lunch, but she also feels like, oh, she made the mistake in counting. So she's really down and just, girl boss Delling from like episode 1 or 2 hiding in the bathroom, the fancy space bathroom. Space bathrooms are getting a lot of play in this show. That's kind of, the G-Reco kind of did the same thing with having like the toilet pilot seat. We're just getting a bunch of like space toilets here. So, Gundam's all about that toilet life apparently. And she's just feeling real bummed. Then we have girl boss Delling and Nika talking about some plans. She's like, hey, can you go get Suletta? And Nika's like, nah, you can go do it. She's like, she's avoiding me. She's like, oh, well, maybe you just need to talk to her. Then Chippity Sr., Space Musk, Guel Sr. here is trying to be all smart and smarmy with Delling Sr. here, and Delling Sr. just is unamused. Like, not even annoyed. He's just kind of blank-faced with his, like, angry eyebrows. And he's like, whatever. That makes him mad, so he freaks out and grabs him by the collar. These bodyguards are about to check him. So they just drag him out of the room. But he puts a tracker on him so he knows what they're saying. And then we get the whole plan of Shadiq, the mastermind behind the scenes, being like, oh, I planned all of this. This is great. Guel Sr., you've got like 2 hours to get off the station. He's like, oh, cool, sick. And then he's like, okay, let's start the attack now. Let's get rid of this guy too. And it's pretty good. Just good old Shadiq. Anyway, so they go ahead and start it. And this chick, the little red-haired girl, I can't remember her name. Probably won't remember it at all ever. But she is like, yo, Suletta Mercury's pretty sick. I hope I get to meet her. Definitely not foreshadowing. the Amuro Camille stand-ins for the series. Anyway, then this is the Dominicus ship. So we get to see, this is similar to the one that happened in the prologue. These guys are like, oh man, our commander used to be an ace pilot, but now he's fat. The commander's like, what'd you say? I heard that. It's kind of a funny little gag, but maybe we'll get to see this guy, because this is the guy that piloted the Biegbu in the prologue, the one that had the canceling tech, the permit canceling. So maybe he'll do some stuff, but we can see like a Michaelis back there in the background. So maybe we'll see Dominicus next episode. That'll be pretty cool. But we get to see all kinds of background stuff. Everyone's kind of just hanging out, doing stuff. The pale lady's talking to Lady Prospera. Nothing really important here. She's like, oh, I'm glad the medical stuff's working out. Yada, yada, yada. Nothing really important. It very much seems like she's like, oh, that's cool, I guess, whatever. But she's not very into it. She's more of like, I gotta get Gundams, and we gotta get revenge. The pale lady's like, bruh, just move past it. Come on. We're doing new stuff now. And then Suletta calls her mom, and she's like, oh, hey, I'm sulking in the toilet. Very sad. She's like, oh, okay, I'll come meet you because I'm real sad. I'm going to come meet you and Ariel. Look at this space water bottle. That's so cool. Why can't we have water bottles like that now? Come on. Somebody can make that. Let's go. Anyway, she's big sad, so she comes out of the bathroom, and wouldn't you know it, the angriest girl boss Stelling exists right there. And she just, like, you could see it in this first shot here, but her hand is over by the door to press the button to close it, which is just like the most Suletta move ever. And then girl boss Stelling here has to use what business management strength she has to hold the door open. And she sends her flying, and girl boss Stelling hurts her head, thus initiates the chase. And girl boss Stelling is big angry, but she gets tired. I've seen a lot of people posting Lelouch from Code Geass memes of not being able to keep up with anyone in the show. It's big vibes there. And then Suletta's like, oh no, you're out of breath, are you okay? And then she gets tackled. And then they have a big heart-to-heart. It's actually really sweet. This is kind of the moment where everyone's like, okay, maybe they are romantically involved, but it could also be like a platonic thing. But they have a very nice moment. So this is not funny. This is actually just a genuinely sweet moment between these two. Yeah, so we're just going to kind of move past that, because that takes... Girl boss Stelling does get a good few punches in here. So good on you, girl boss Stelling, taking some self-defense. Like, look at that face. She's in pain. Anyway, moving on. So we get past that. We get really past... There we go. Okay, so the Earth people are about to launch the attack, and you can see the... I can't remember exactly what these older units of the Jetrarch machines are, what their names are, but we see they have at least 3 of them, and they're going to launch and do some stuff. They're going to block communications so that they can take out Delling Sr. That's the whole big plan here. And they're like, is this a good idea to, kill, like, a bunch of people? And Shadiq's like, yeah, it'll probably be all right. She's like, oh, well, girl boss Delling's there. He's like, nah, I should be fine. Don't worry about it. This is like Shadiq, just the chillest man on earth. Anyway, warnings start going out. People start freaking out. And then Lady Prospera's like, yo, Ariel, you looking sick. Look at these upgrades, bro. She's definitely got some kind of backpack unit on. Looks like she's got maybe some new shoulder and torso bits. A bunch of people were excited. She's got a red chin thingy. Very excited to see what this new variant or version or upgrade of the Ariel Gundam looks like. Anyway, they start doing their stuff, and then we get to see the Gundam Lefirth throne and the other one, whose name I really cannot remember. It doesn't exactly, but I mean, it does matter, but their names don't matter. They are blowing up this C block to make sure people are like isolated there, because I think that's where Delling is. So they just use these big like hyper mega cannons to destroy this thing. And yeah, you see Space Musk here be like, oh, Shadiq didn't wait for me, how dare he? I'm like, yeah, good on you, Shadiq, let's kill this guy. Anyway, they're flying around, they're doing their stuff, and then we get to the little chicken. I think this actually... No, this isn't the Thorn, this is the other one. Anyway, Suletta and Girl Boss Delling get separated by a wall. Suletta is trapped into, like, this is... It makes sense for an airlock, but this is the absolute worst space to be trapped, because there's no door, and it's just like an observation platform. And then you get to see the Gundam piloted by the little girl version of Amuro be like, yo, this is what I've been waiting for. Suletta, Mercury, what is up? She looks like she might kill her. Like, look at that face. She is just like, she's not asking for an autograph. She's like, I'm gonna end you. And that's the end of the episode. A lot happened. A lot of setting up. Next week is gonna slap, and then we're gonna have to wait a couple months for the second part of the season, Core 2, if you will. And that'll start in April. So after next week, we'll take a little break on these, but we'll get right back at it once it starts back up.